woman. She was widowed early. And she took what she had, what she inherited, she invested in it, she created this foundation.
Back our country finally? Guys, we have to take back our country. Our country right now it's so sad. It's so sad what the politicians have done to our nation, and we are going to fix it, and we're going to get them out of Washington, D.C., and we are going to take back our nation. You know, I always start by saying my father wouldn't be running. Honestly, he wouldn't be running. He's had a great company. We have a great family. We have a great life. You know, he's done very, very well for himself. He would not be running if there were competent, uncorrupt people in Washington, D.C., if there were competent, honest people in Washington. He wouldn't have to do this. But the problem is our country has so many problems. We've got $20 trillion worth of debt. We've got an educational system that's failing our youth. We've got the most depleted military in modern day history, the lowest number of troops, the lowest number of ships, the lowest number of aircraft. We have 22 veterans every single day who take their own lives. And we do nothing about it. We have a VA that has totally failed our vets. Who's vet in here? It's incredible. Everywhere I go. Now, these men and women have been so poorly treated by our VA, and we are going to change that. We are absolutely going to change it. It's going to end day one. Day one. We're going to build the greatest military that has ever taken place in the United States of America. The strongest military in the world, bar none, hands down. And guys, look at our economy. I mean, look at what our economy has gotten us. We have 95 million people out of the workforce in this country. 95 million. We have more people today than ever before on food stamps. We have more people in this country working 2 and 3 and 4 jobs just to get by. Median income in this country hasn't gone up in 15 years. People in this country haven't gotten a raise in 15 years. They're making the same amount of money as they were 15 years ago. We've lost 70,000 factories since Bill Clinton signed NAFTA. Think about that, 70,000 factories. I wouldn't have guessed that there were 70,000 factories in the country. We've lost 70,000 factories since Bill Clinton signed NAFTA. We've lost 1 in 3 manufacturing jobs since Bill Clinton signed NAFTA. They've all left. They've gone to China, they've gone to Mexico, they've gone everywhere. And you know what that's done? That's caused a bunch of people to lose their jobs in the United States of America. And it's simply not right, and it's not fair to the workers of this country who deserve so much more from our politicians. Guys, we're going to bring back those jobs, and we're going to bring back those jobs very, very quickly. We're going to bring them back to the United States because we can manufacture and we can produce better than anyone in the world. We're going to make America competitive again. You know, we can't be competitive. We can't be competitive when we have the highest taxes in the world. You know, the taxes that everybody in this room pays are astronomical. We pay more taxes than any other country in the world. It's horrible. I mean, it's absolutely horrible. Businesses can no longer compete. We've got more regulations than any country in the world. Again, it strangles businesses. It strangles manufacturing. So many companies say, you know what? I may as well go to Mexico. I may as well go to China because you know what? I can't get anything done in the United States. I spend more time filling out paperwork than we do actually producing a product. They can't get anything done, and it's got to end. We've got to take care of business. We've got to put America back to work. We've got to have median income start rising again in this country. You know, we've got to also take care of education. We've got to take care of Common Core. We've got to eliminate Common Core in this country. As I mentioned, we're 30th in the world in terms of education. So you have these beautiful little kids, and our educational system is totally failing them. It's being run by bureaucrats out of Washington, D.C., who know nothing about education, nor do they care about any of these communities. They've never left Washington, D.C. They've never been here. And they're running our educational system. You know, math skills is ranked 37th in the world. Reading comprehension is ranked 34th in the world. We're America. We are so much better than that. If there's one thing we should get right, and by the way, we should be #1 at everything in the world that we do. But if there's anything we need to get right in this country, it's education, and we are totally failing at it, and the politicians don't even acknowledge it to be a problem. You know, we're also failing with healthcare. Who here is part of Obamacare? It's horrible.
No one can afford
Horrible. Horrible, right? You know, it's Obamacare was one simple promise. You're gonna get to keep your doctor, you're gonna get to keep your plan, and that the average family was gonna save $2,500 a year. It was originally the Affordable Care Act. Affordable Care Act. And Hillary Clinton said before it was Obamacare, it was called Hillary Care. You know what the problem with Obamacare is? You didn't get to keep your plan, you didn't get to keep your doctor, and the average family spends $4,500 more a year than it did before. And you know, I had a family come up to me, a mother come up to me a couple days ago, and she was crying. She started telling me the story, and she started tearing up. And she goes, you know, I used to have beautiful health care coverage before Obamacare. My rates went up so much that I had to opt out of Obamacare because I could no longer afford it. So now I'm paying Russian roulette with my whole family, with our children's. And by the way, the deductibles under Obamacare are so high that if I ever had to use it, I couldn't use it. But she goes, you know what, Eric's the worst part? I had a plan that I loved. I had a doctor that I loved. All my kids had insurance. You know what the biggest problem is? Because I can't afford it, at the end of the year I have to pay a $700 penalty to the United States government for a system that I didn't want. For a system that I can't afford. So now I have nothing because of this crazy, crazy system. I had to opt my entire family out and now pay the penalty. And guys, it has to stop. And the problem with government is there's zero accountability. You know, that person will probably go on to get a promotion, to run another program, to run another agency. That person should be fired. That person should be fired and held accountable because it's made so many people in this country suffer, and it's cost this country so much money. You know, we also need to restore respect to our nation. Everything we do, everything we love in this country is under assault, whether it be our Second Amendment, which everybody loves, totally under assault, whether it be Christianity, totally under assault in this country. You see the Hillary emails, they're making fun of evangelicals, they're making fun of Christians, they're making fun of Catholics, they're making fun of everybody. I mean, here you see these emails where Donna Brazil is giving the questions, the debate questions to Hillary ahead of time. It's unbelievable the level of corruption, what these people will do. You look at the Clinton Foundation, which is one of the great Ponzi schemes of all time. Here, two people came out of the Oval Office, came out of the White House, and they claimed they were quote-unquote dead broke. 15 years later, they're worth $250 million. And the question I have is, what product were they selling? What product? You know what we do. We build hotels and stuff, right? I mean, what product were they selling that they could go from zero to being worth $250 million? The vast majority of the time, Hillary was a politician. I mean, how can that happen? Who's working on behalf of the American people in our government? And I can answer the question. I mean, no one, because we're not winning at anything we do anymore. We're not winning with jobs. We're not winning with trade. We're not winning with the $20 trillion. We're not winning with student debt. We're not winning in our military. We're not winning with our VA. We're certainly not winning with healthcare. We're not winning with infrastructure. Our infrastructure in the country is a disaster. We're not winning with anything we do anymore. You know, when Kennedy said, let's put a man on the moon, they did it. 9 years, 8 months, 27 days to put a man on the moon. Somebody had vision. Somebody wanted to win. We wanted to win a space race, right? We don't have plans like that anymore. There's no one that has macro vision for what this country could be. The best manufacturer in the world, energy independent, you know, the greatest, you know, job producer, a country with the greatest educational system, the country that instead of having a $20 trillion deficit has a $20 trillion surplus, the country with the greatest military that God has ever seen, the country that takes care of their veterans better than anybody. No one has that vision. Instead, these politicians go and they try and line their own pockets. They do anything they can to stay in power. And that's what you're seeing in the WikiLeaks. That's what you're seeing in these awful videos that are coming out, the hidden videos where the DNC is paying people to go incite riots. They shut down entire cities. It's crazy. It's crazy. And as a country, we deserve so much better. So guys, we're going to win. We are going to win this thing. We are going to take back the country. And I promise you, Ivanka, Don, and myself will work 24 hours a day, 7 days a week until this thing is over to make sure we win. And when I can tell you, my father works harder than any person you've ever met, and you can see that on TV. And by the way, it's the same work ethic that he's going to bring to Washington, D.C. And the nonsense is going to end. And he will be the greatest cheerleader for this country the country has ever seen, and he will be the hardest worker. And listen, I sometimes tell him, Dad, sometimes you fight a little too hard, honestly. Like, you might want to let that one go. You fight a little too hard. This country needs somebody that's going to fight hard for it, because no one's fought for this country in a very, very long time. And he's going to do that. And guys, we're going to make you so proud, and you're going to make us so proud. Let's win Ohio. Let's bring this thing home. Our numbers look awesome. Let's make America great again. Thank you guys so much for having me. Thank you. And would everybody here tip the staff very nicely? These guys are awesome. So we really appreciate you having us at this great restaurant. Thank you guys so much.